And I often say you can stay in a hotel and you go back in the following weekend, you've forgotten about the hotel. But if you actually stay in a castle, that memory lasts for a lot longer.
Perrin, Lincoln, no introductions needed, but tell me about the project that you've been doing with Roger.
Go for it.
I love it when you do that to me. Well, it all started a long time ago when we met over on LinkedIn, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Because Roger was obviously talking to us about castles. I love history. And then we just started talking about castles, didn't we? And I think, was it just after lockdown we came to see you?
Yeah, when things opened up again, you popped over to our office.
That's right.
And we got rather excited and creative with lots of ideas that visually we could link to castles.
Yeah.
That's true. And then we had a bit of a break from that, didn't we? I think we just got our heads down, didn't we, really, recovering from lockdown, do you think? And last year, we were looking for a location for one of our clients who she enjoys, is it cosplay and fantasy dressing. So she wanted to be a warrior queen. So we got in touch with you. We said, do you know any castles we can use? And that then initiated the conversation again, didn't it? And
that's right.
That was it. We just both jumped on it, didn't we?
Yeah.
And here we are.
We were starting to look at how we could develop our gift opportunities, because we sell money value vouchers and whatnot, and we sell value vouchers linked to castle experiences. And then we just got talking, well, if we could dress people up and have them stay at a castle and have that experience and then have something as a memory towards that, that would be a brilliant gift. And that's what started our conversation about how could we expand on this.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like. You have a fantastic location to shoot in.
Of course. Well, it's the whole element of being immersed in an environment is what we're trying to manufacture all the time. Whether it's a set, whether it's in a studio. We were in Nottingham all day yesterday shooting furniture. We had so much furniture to get through and so many different shoots, and there was 2 different sets just to create the different environments. But it's only in that frame. If you went slightly up or slightly down, you could tell you're in a studio.
Yes.
So to be in a castle environment, immersed in that environment, it's kind of like a dream for us, isn't it? Where you can shoot from every angle, every perspective, not only get the person, the character, but also get that beautiful architecture.
Yeah. And in the days of AI, when everybody's putting the pictures on the websites of what they look like as a jet pilot or as a princess warrior, whatever it might be, it's all pretend. But to give them that experience of this is real, you've got the outfit on, you're on the location, this is where maybe Henry VIII walked in, depending on which castle we're in. This is where so-and-so happened. This is what happened in 1653, and they're there. And it's all real. They're having that experience, and they've got the pictures that reminds them of that, rather than a pretend picture of them doing something. It's a memory.
It's a memory.
Yeah,
Fantastic. So Roger, tell me a bit more about the overall campaign, and what does the guest get? It sounds like memorabilia beyond the experience of just staying. Just tell me.
Well, Rajpal, I would say that a lot of people think that you can just visit a castle and they don't realise actually you can stay over or have a holiday there. The package includes the expertise of the photography side of things, but also an overnight stay, dinner, bed and breakfast. So it becomes almost a destination for the day and the following morning. And then you're able to capture that. So this dressing up idea, I mean, there are lots of events now taking place around the UK and around the world where people want to reenact. And from that point of view, it sort of brings history to life. So there's an element, you've got a luxury stay, you've got history, you're going to have a portfolio of images that remind you of that day. And this could be linked to a special occasion. It's for somebody maybe who has everything, and it's something different for them, and it creates a memory that they can have on their wall to remember that experience they've had at the castle. And as Lincoln said, it could be a bedroom that Henry VIII slept in with Anne Boleyn. It could be a haunted castle up in the northeast of England. We can flex this wherever it needs to go, but we're working with 2 castles currently to sort of bring this idea alive for people.
Fantastic. Go on. Where are the castles? Where?
The two castles we're working with are Lumley Castle up in the northeast of England,
Sure.
just at Chesterley Street, and then Thornbury Castle down just north of Bristol in a little village, and it's a 500-year-old Tudor castle, so lots of character in there. But it also gives us so much variety in the backdrops we can use, from castellations to bits of castle ruins, spiral staircases, beautiful gardens, and whatnot. And the architecture really then blends in to the theme and the creativity that you guys pull together.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it?
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. And also, it might be that people want to come and celebrate an anniversary or a pre-wedding shoot or an engagement shoot or a birthday. It gives them an opportunity as well to, if they want, they can just get dressed up in their finery and come and have the experience and be photographed there. So it kind of opens itself up, doesn't it, to lots of different options, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds great. Because and I'm sure you'll all have you'll have seen this trend. There's destination weddings and going out, and that's becoming really popular. But since lockdown, just the whole aspect of getting out of the country has kind of been reduced. So, motor homes, caravan parks have really seen a big influx. Have you seen that similar trend over the last few years where you've captured a new market?
It's been quite interesting. Obviously, we had the staycation element, and then when people could travel again, they wanted the sun. But what we're seeing is a lot of inbound clients coming through. So we're very lucky in the UK to have history and these, beautiful buildings. So especially the American Canadian market want to tap into this. Australasia, again, are keen to come over and touch that history. So what we've seen is a mix. But certainly from the experience side of things, I often say castles, so what? There are plenty of castles out there. And of course, we know all the castles you can stay in. Customers don't necessarily know that. But to go to a property now, in hospitality, you've got to create some sort of destination and a reason to go there, and also leave a memory with these people. And I often say you can stay in a hotel and you go back in the following weekend, you've forgotten about the hotel. But if you actually stay in a castle, that memory lasts for a lot longer. Yes. Especially if you've got that wrapped around with friends and colleagues and whatnot for special events. So as you were saying there, it could be engagement. We do a lot of weddings for two. There's renewal of vows, etc. This actually fits quite nicely in with that as well, because again, people are getting dressed up, they're getting into the theme and whatnot, and that just heightens the special day in itself. So, that fits. There's a lot of interest in sort of murder mystery events and medieval banquets. So people do get dressed up for that, but this becomes really personal, which is lovely. And as I say, it just creates a memory that adds a little bit of a sort of
Special touch.
A sparkle to the time that you've spent in the castle.
And, as you were saying there, I think I just didn't think about the inbound aspect of it. People, tourists from America or from anywhere in the world wanting to come to this beautiful country to look at the history we've got. We've got a lot of rich history, which other people, other people can't compete with the history that we've got, Some not so good, but we've got a lot of history.
I think you mentioned, obviously, staycation. We're terrible in this country for not visiting what's on our doorstep.
Yeah.
It's surprising. And I think, when everybody was stuck here, they realised, hang on, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And we are very, very rich in stuff. And, an hour away from everywhere we live, there's some fabulous experiences on offer.
We were quite surprised that there was some... because we were looking for a location for a car photo shoot. He wanted a nice vista in front of his car with his wife, and we found a little parking lay-by in Huddersfield overlooking not mountains but big rolling green hills, and it looked amazing. You think it's literally 10 minutes away from the clutter and the narrow streets of Huddersfield, and it's beautiful. We got some great shots from that. It was a nice sunset as well.
It was really nice. It was good fun, wasn't it? It's really cold, but it's good fun.
Yes.
Yeah. I was reading a stat, and I know someone will correct me because I'll get it wrong. In the country, we as like cities, towns, and built up areas, we only occupy like 15% of the country. Most of it is just unoccupied Greenland, beautiful landscapes. And, we always talk about we're overpopulated, cities are getting too congested. But I was just flabbergasted at that kind of stat. And again, I should Google it to get the fact right. But I just knew it was such a small amount of the actual land that we occupy. There's so many beautiful landscapes in the country.
Well, I was going to say, you get a train down to London and you pass through a few conurbations, but once you're going from Doncaster straight down to London, the amount of green space is phenomenal. Yeah. So yes, we are all clustered in small sort of pockets of suburbia, but no, we're very blessed with it. And of course, when you get out into the Yorkshire Dales from here, you've got Wales, Scotland, the landscapes are absolutely amazing.
And it's nice when you're driving into Scotland and suddenly the cars disappear and there's nothing for miles. You're not seeing the car for ages.
Yes.
Of course.
Freedom.
We were shooting in the lakes about 3 weeks ago, and it's just stunning. That same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You just get out of suburbia, as you say, and it's just beautiful landscapes. We don't realize how beautiful this place is. Just literally a few miles outside of our busy cities.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very lucky to live, I think, where we do as well, in Yorkshire, because it really is on our doorstep, isn't it? You can have the cities and then a few miles and then you can feel all the fields and everything opening up, and it's beautiful. Yeah. And we did a tour of Scotland, didn't we? A mini tour of Scotland. We took a motorhome, didn't we?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago. Oh, you just go over the border and you just feel that space and you relax, and it's just beautiful, isn't it? And we just pretty much had a rough idea of where we wanted to go, and then we just called in at anything that we saw on the way. So lots of castles and that type of thing we got into.
I think that might have been a seed for the joining the Celtic Castles thing, because we saw. Is it Eileen Castle or Alien Castle?
Ellendonum.
It's one that's on the lake.
Yes.
It's still lived in by the family.
We went there on the way to the Isle of Skye.
Yes, it'll be Ellendonum.
Yeah.
Yes,
And it's a lovely castle.
It's the most photographed castle probably in Scotland, and you'll see it on all the biscuit boxes.
Right. Lovely castle, and going around it and shooting the different locations. It's because obviously we're photographers, and when we go away on holiday, we take the little camera and take the decent snaps of the place, and it's just inspiring.
Yes, yeah.
So inspiring.
Yeah. And I don't think, my brother actually, we're all motorcyclists, and my brother was going through Glencoe, and he'd had a camera on the front of his bike, and it was this view, just this long view, and all the mountains in the distance in this straight road. And I just looked and I thought, I want to be there. So, this countryside is very emotive. Yeah. But again, there's so many people that haven't been to Scotland.
Yeah.
And, if anybody gets a chance to go to Scotland, just do it. You just see a different world.
It is. As soon as I go over the border, it's just...
it changes. Yeah, and then once you get north of Glasgow and Edinburgh, it changes again.
Yeah.
The Highlands are quite spectacular.
Yeah, it does. It is. I love going there. One of my favourite places to visit.
Yeah. One of the things that shocks me, you're saying about some people haven't been to Scotland and seen all the beauty out there, is when I hear an American say they've never seen the sea.
Yes.
And to all of us, it's just a day trip to see the coast. I think probably.
Yes.
Most people have seen the sea, and then you go to America. I've never seen the sea. I think, well, why not just go? And then you think, well, it's a big country. It's probably 6 days to drive
to get there. Yeah.
I'll get shot down by saying this, but most Americans think the world ends at the end of America.
It was quite interesting that there was a statistic that 18% of Americans had passports. I think it's now gone up to 36%. But I suppose they've got a huge country, so they don't need to travel.
New England's beautiful.
Gorgeous, yes.
Majestical colours of those trees.
Yeah. But we have that in Yorkshire as well.
We have that in Yorkshire, yeah.
We've got some beautiful historic buildings that turn red, with the ivy on them and whatnot. And again, we miss stuff like that. So, there's a lot of stuff on our doorstep that we lose out on.
Absolutely. From a photography point of view, I just think, again, the castles are iconic backdrops or environments. The people getting dressed up it just sounds like a fun opportunity to capture some amazing memories. Are you just capturing them as they go? Are you letting them be the their own self, or are you choreographing the photographs in the different spaces? What's your approach to this?
When we first get together, we have a consultation, and that's when we'll start to create the clarity around what it is that we're going to create for them, and have a conversation with them about how do they really dream of being photographed, and then from there we can start building in the creativity, can't we?
Yeah. If they want to become part of the history, then Roger has a contact with the costume.
We've got costume companies that we can link into, yeah. But do you find, Perrin, that whenever you're chatting with couples and whatnot, do they know what they want, or are they looking to you for your creativity to help them? Because I can imagine if I was doing something, I'd be thinking, well, what sort of picture? I wouldn't know what picture I wanted, to be fair.
We've had so many people say, I can have that.
Yes.
Yeah, of course you can. And it's well, we just take it for granted that if you want to be... We had a client said to us one day, I've had this crazy idea. I want to, it's Ascot Ladies' Day. I want to photograph a horse coming out of a restaurant or in a restaurant.
Okay.
With somebody dressed up on it. It's like, well, we can't have it in the restaurant because I think health and hygiene might have something to say, but we can have it in the doorway looking into the restaurant. Absolutely. So Saturday morning in Leeds at 9 o'clock, we were photographing a horse coming out of a restaurant. And so... But she knew us quite well, and it was a crazy idea that she could indulge in. But we do get people come and say, I want to come into the studio and have a shot like this. And it's like, really? Okay, well, what makes you want that shot? What do you really love? What do you like? And let's go out on location somewhere and do this, that, and the other. And it's, really? Yeah, we can do that. And we've got a costume department, and we've got a makeup artist if you want to go.
All out?
All out, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And do you find when you're photographing, couples, etc., are they quite nervous to start off with? Do you have to relax them as they go, into the experience, I suppose? And then that's when you start to capture the better shots?
Yeah, we get that all the time, people being nervous of having a photo shoot. And, people say right to our faces, don't they, how much they hate having their picture taken. And we're so used to that now, aren't we?
It's almost like, it goes together like horse and carriage. I'm a photographer. I hate having my photograph taken.
That's not the response, is there? But when we first meet them, when we have the discovery call, that's about putting them at ease and just teasing out roughly what it is that they're looking for. And then if they decide to come on board and we organise a photo shoot, that's when we have the consultation, and that's just really a chat, very much like this, just getting to know them and find out how they want to be photographed, what ideas and thoughts they have. Sometimes they're quite embarrassed to share those, or like you say, they don't know what they want. Our book comes in handy to have a book full of photographs that other people have had done, and that will then start to realise that what they can have and what other people are having. Right. Yeah. And then from there, it's really collaborative. It's about them sharing their ideas, us sharing ours, and even on shoot day, it's about, we may be in a location, a castle, see something that they really like that we haven't thought about, and they'll say, can we do that? We go, of course you can. Come on, let's give it a go. So it's
and the location can be tweaked to suit what the client wants. Like they might say, I'd like a photograph that's quite sunny and exotic. Well, actually in here we've got palm trees that look pretty cool, and quite easily we could shoot in that direction and manufacture that. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever the location will be, because we don't have to include the pots and pans and the diggers that are on to the left. But if we just keep those out of the shot, of course. I mean, one of the phrases, a camera never lies. All the time. It has its own viewpoint.
Big fibber.
But you talk about it goes a horse and cart kind of scenario of, I've got I hate having my photograph taken, or I hate being in front of the camera. I think it's a culture thing. I think we've been fortunate over the years to travel about and get out of the country, filming and producing. And I remember this is a few years back. I was in Boston, and we were working with an agency partner of ours out there, and everyone had their mobile phones out and they're taking selfies and they're doing videos. And I think they're just like 5 years ahead of us. This isn't youngsters or Gen Z or cool kids. These are business people, people our age running businesses way bigger than our business, and they're totally comfortable with that, getting their phone out and just talking straight to camera. All right, I'm going to send that. And I've to kind of encourage our clients, the businesses we work with, I always say to them, next time you do a phone call, don't do a phone call, do a video call.
Yes.
Get used to having the camera, your phone in front of you and talking to someone, connecting with someone on the other side, because you get more comfortable with seeing yourself and connecting with that person.
And I think that's so I've just come back from France, and just going through Geneva Airport, I can see a lot more people having video calls, and they're less conscious about what's around them, especially when they've got their head or their earpieces in, and they're just having this one-to-one, and they're in their little bubble. So we are starting to see a lot more of that, but I think we are a little bit reticent here, and in front of a camera, it's, oh my goodness. But it's got to be the way forward, because people's attention span has reduced so much. So it is a little bit about all these little clips. We're seeing reels. Obviously, TikTok's gone a bit daft and whatnot. And, 20 seconds, 12 seconds even of an attention span I've picked up on some stuff I've read. And you just think, you've got to just be comfortable in front of that environment.
Yeah.
It's about normalizing videos, cameras, photographs. And we were in Nottingham yesterday, and there was another photo shoot next to us, and the studio manager was saying that, everyone thinks they're a photographer nowadays. Everyone's got a phone and everyone's snapping. And I says, well, it's you've either got to embrace this because the change is happening, whether we like it or not. We've either, whether it's AI, whether it's photographs, whether it's smartphones, whether it's video, this whole space, the landscape's changing at a speed, which is kind of crazy, scary. You said, I laughed when you said daft. And in many ways it is, but in many ways I think it's eye-opening. I think, this whole technology disruption in our space, I think it's fascinating to see what trends stick. 10 years ago, I don't know if you remember Vine as a social channel. No. Vine was a 9-second video kind of thing, and it just flopped. Fast forward to where we are now.
And we've got a second of a day.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that they do it every day, not for a year, for 3 years, for 4 years.
Absolutely.
And whatnot. It is amazing. It is amazing.
So, however, all of that circle back to, beautiful photographs, beautiful frames. I think there's a place for it. There's a novelty. There's something special about seeing a beautiful big photograph that hangs on the wall, that stamps that memory in time and will last not for 3 seconds on social media or a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but can stay in your whether it's your boardroom or your living room at home, and can stand the test of time.
It becomes a talking piece as well, because somebody comes in and says, wow, what's this, where was that, etc.
If you get a box of photographs out and a couple of albums and get them out, everybody sits around and chatting and looking through, and they're all on the table. Nobody ever gets the mobile phone out, puts it on the middle of the table, and just scroll through the photographs.
No, they don't, because those are all forgotten. They're just they become storage. When I go and stay in castles, and I recommend this a lot to especially families who come and take a castle for a week or whatever, I would say make sure you've got a photographer, a decent photographer in the group who can take lots of pictures and take just pictures all the time. I'm the photographer in our groups, so I'm taking like maybe 1,000 photographs for a week's stay, and then I put it in a book.
Yes.
And then I give everybody who's been on the holiday the book, and everybody looks at it, and it might be in a shelf for a couple of months, and then they pull the book. Oh, do you remember this castle stay? And it just creates such a wonderful memory. So similar to prints on walls, books are great too.
Yeah, we do that, don't we?
We did that with all our holiday shots. We've got A3 books with all the photos, and we often come down and have a cup of coffee and flip through our
But what I find fascinating is people don't think about that. They've spent a lot of money on a holiday, but they're not capturing it.
Yes.
They're doing it on their phones or whatever, but they're not bringing it together at the end. And the amount of people say, gee, Roger, that's a great idea. I'm just thinking, really? I mean, that's just common sense. But they're not thinking about stuff like that and bringing that experience together for everybody that's been with them.
We do that when we photograph events, don't we? We'll create a book for them so they've got the story of the event.
Yes.
The castle's gone, the event's gone, the birthday's gone, the people have gone, the photographs, the pictures on your wall, they'll stay.
They're there forever.
They're there to relive the memories, aren't they? Fond memories. And I think they become that on top of the mantelpiece. It used to be a traditional thing, a family photograph, a couple photograph, and we don't seem to do that anymore. Again, as a cultural thing, historically we used to have these beautiful big family photographs, and that whole culture has changed. So I think there's an opportunity to kind of rekindle that and like stamp time, just to say this happened. and look at this beautiful
Yeah.
backdrop, and isn't it nice to look back at their memories and relive them?
And taking that thought on a bit, and without trying to bring the topic of the conversation down. Once somebody dies, first thing you do is, have I got any photos of my Uncle Gerald?
Yes, yeah.
And then we start sharing the family photos around. It's,
That's so true, because you're preserving somebody, aren't you, in that moment in time of how they want to be seen and the story that they want to pass down the generations. And when somebody has passed away and people go into the house afterwards, there'll be the pictures that they'll want to take.
Yes.
Because if they've had a photograph taken and they love it that much that they put it up on the wall and they look at it every day and they clean it and it's talked about, as you said, that then becomes something really tangible.
and it has the essence of that person in
Yes,
it
it
as well.
does.
Because they've loved it, they've cherished it.
Yes.
It's filled with...
People take those, won't
Yeah,
they?
when photography first started and people started to take sort of portrait shots and whatnot in locations, we look at these black and white photographs that we find in boxes and we're intrigued by them.
Yes.
And it's also like where you live, you see these before and after shots. Oh gosh, that's what it used to look like. So it does bring a lot from the heart and connects people to people.
Yeah. They tell stories.
Of course they do.
And it connects the hearts and minds to them fond memories that you had with that loved one, with them people, with that location.
Yes.
Your own memories from them locations. So I think, it's an interesting point in the life when someone passes, the importance of that photograph. There's a Facebook group that I'm part of called Sikhs in Leeds.
Right.
So it's all the Sikhs and what they try to do is from the early visitors, 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, the first Sikhs that came from India, Africa, and that's the kind of main pockets of descendants that have come into Leeds, is just share photographs. And you can see how Leeds has developed over the years, you can see how people have developed, and at the time, I don't think we've changed much. None of us are overly like, oh, take my photograph or over like photogenic from that perspective. Yeah. But actually, when you reflect and think, well, 20 years ago, that person and that uncle and that auntie, I know that person there. Yes. It's such a fond memory of our community. Yes. And we see lots of comments on that group, just reminiscing, because obviously people have moved out of Leeds as well, but they're still connected to the group, and it brings them fond memories back. Yes. So it's such a nice way to still have the community values.
Yes.
That sometimes we've lost as well.
The imagery, it is powerful.
Yeah.
Well,
sure. That was how interesting to talk about photography in castles. Where can we see more of this? How can we learn more about the castles, about the photographs, the packages? What if someone was interested?
Well, we've got the featured on Celtic Castles website. Okay. So it's within the voucher area. And you can find that at www.celticcastles.com. Obviously, you've got a network of people as well.
We have. We're sharing it out, and it will be featured on our website. So that we just have to do that. We're so busy. We have to do that.
www.photography.com.
Oh, smooth! You're so smooth.
I took a hint from Roger.
It's fantastic. So, and the packages, is there different options? Stay, photo shoots, do they come standard, or is it a case of get in touch and then? Yeah,
there's 2 one-night packages, but if somebody wanted to extend the stay, that's also possible. We can flex that, and the details are on each particular castle, and we do hope to expand the number of properties. So currently we're covering sort of the Bristol and the Newcastle area, but that's a couple of hours commute depending on where people are, and we also may even get Americans coming in that want to do something like this as well and link it to the history of these particular properties.
Fantastic. Have you got I've got to ask the question, have you got video in the mix?
There is not any video at the moment in the mix, and maybe that's something we should explore further.
We absolutely should.
That's good. Yes.
It would be criminal not to. I can see it already, drones from the top, beautiful landscapes, lots of greenery, coming through the mists. And then, we can be really clever about this. So there's one thing about capturing that backdrop, the actual story, but then obviously we can't be there every week or every time. So whether we buddy up and we create a booth or some kind of green screen scenario that the couples or whoever's coming for that photo experience, they're in a green screen environment with their attire, and then we can have some set shots.
Right.
Because obviously to get production there every week,
It becomes expensive.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not as flexible and affordable in comparison to photography. But I've got my creative juices going on. We can work out a package because it's all about economies of scale.
Yes.
How can we make something look grand but make it
Indeed.
affordable for each person?
Yeah. And of course, the video, you can capture a lot of material on a one-day shoot and then use elements of that for the backdrop because you can freeze each part.
We might have some behind-the-scene footage of us working for once. Because we never ever get behind the scene. We go to some fantastic locations.
Yes.
We come home, we talk about how fabulous it's been, and then one of us will say, "Did you take any footage?" No. Did you? No.
You're so focused on the enjoyment
Yeah.
of the client and what's happening,
Yes,
and making sure
yeah.
that everything's great.
And
Quite
that in
often our
itself,
clients do it, don't they,
I was
for
going to
us?
say that probably breaks down a little bit of that nervousness of having a photograph taken because they can see what's happening behind the scenes and the
Yes.
fact that it is actually quite
Yes.
relaxed and an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, people do like them when we share them, don't they?
Well,
Yeah.
let's diarize it. #BTS behind the scenes,
Yeah.
and let's make it happen. Yeah.
Cool.
The people, like we said earlier on, the phrase that we hear is, "I hate having my photograph taken." And some of these people have been on a photo shoot with us, and afterwards they've gone off feeling great. And I've had quite a few husbands and boyfriends ring me up saying, "Lincoln, what have you been doing to my wife? She's become a different person." They're all
Right.
bubbling. It's like they're all full of themselves because they've had a
Yes.
great day and they've been made to feel good.
And that's what this is all about. It's
Yeah.
an experience. It's something that you're going to remember and enjoy.
It's exciting when we see people leave on a high, isn't it, afterwards?
when they look at
It's
the
just
photo at
great.
the back of the camera and say, "Is that me?"
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Fantastic. Yeah. Sounds really exciting. I'm excited to see more photographs, more castles, and I hope 2025 gets bigger and better for all around.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashpal.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that was a great conversation. How was that for all of you?
Fine.
Do my eyes just get bigger and bigger and bigger looking at you? I am not relaxed at all when I'm doing this. I must have glanced at the camera about 3 times. I stopped looking in the camera. What's wrong with you? And yeah, just like that. I'm so chilled. I've just been on stage.
Life of a rock star. What
Yeah,
I'd
life of a
expect
Every
nothing
morning I
less.
get up and I look in the mirror and I go, "It's not going to get any better than that."
Yes. Yeah.
It is what it is.
And I look
To accept it.
and I look at you for the same reason. It's not going to get any better. So that's you're going to get, Reedy.
While they have their domestic, should we just nip out and grab a coffee and then let them have their little dingo?
The domestic ding dong. But no, that was fun. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
it was
doing
good.
that for
No, you're very
us.
welcome. I mean,
good.
just a quick overview, just explain, this is not a sales pitch, but I'd love your opinion on this. There's lots of studios in Leeds, in and around, that have this kind of setup and they do really well. But what we've learned over the years is that if you were to leave and now if I was to give you the video footage and now go edit it and put it together and, you might get onto it or you might leave it on the shelf and then you think, I'll get to it on the weekend, and the weekend comes and goes and it just never happens. And so the solution that we found here is come in, spend half an hour, or book half a day with us, and then you leave, do your bit, do your talk, whether it's 4 of us, 3 of us, 2 of us, 1 of us, or just some training straight to camera.
Yeah.
You can book that session in, do your bit, and you can leave. And then our guys upstairs take you up. They'll cut the long form just to tidy up a bit, nothing major. Give us tops and tails of logos and anything you might want. And then take half a dozen little snippets there's bound to be half a dozen nuggets of value in there that are a little bit interesting that we can share on social. So our guys upstairs will then do the long form, do the short form, hand it over to you, and then it's modelled over 12 months.
Yes. Yeah.
So every social media person will always say, don't do a one-hit wonder. Don't just do it once.
Oh no, absolutely. You've got
Want
to
consistency.
once you
Yeah.
get the contact or the data, then just reuse it, and as you say, repurpose it. It's quite interesting as well. I mean, I don't know how clients find you and how you develop, a new client base. But this agency that I went down to, they're just giving away all this content for free. But what they're doing is they've niched down, they're showing what paid media does, etc., digital, and sharing that. And they're picking clients off that. So it's almost stuff like you're doing here. It's almost like show businesses what you do and how you do it. Absolutely. They will never get round to doing it because they need the experts. And it's the classic, you know, a consultant comes in, I can remember in my corporate days, consultant comes in, here's the report, they paid stupid money for this report and it collects dust. Because the director didn't want to have to make the decision. He got the consultant to do it and then nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
And it's the same with all of this content, unless you're really switched on, but time is the killer. And if you're producing something that says you can come in and do this, blah, 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 you get access to different markets and you're giving them something to use. They're pushing it out for you as well as you pushing it out.
Absolutely.
But it's driving how does video make a difference to your business? Now, this is classic. We weren't thinking about video for this.
No, not at all.
And one of the things that I'm looking at within our business is how do we get more video? So we've got a YouTube channel. I've got 1,500 subscribers. And we put stuff up, but we're getting snippets from everywhere where we can. We'll do it ourselves, but we're not professional at it. I would love to have somebody in the business who could go out and capture this stuff and bring these castles alive. And I'm known as the castle man, so I'm having this thought, you know, a chat at a castle or something like that, and you could start a podcast and a video and goodness knows what else. But it's all resource and time.
Absolutely.
But again, it is that thing about, you could do X, Y, and Z, boom, that becomes a package, and then it starts to get reused all over the place.
Yeah, I know for us when we're doing the photography, when we're working with you, there's an opportunity there for us to capture images for you to use because I imagine you are relying on the castles and the images that they're giving you to use, and we've talked about this. Said, well, while we're there, we'll just take some pictures for you. You can use the images.
One of the things is there's no expertise in there, so I actually have a chap in Canada who comes across to photograph castles. He's into history, so we just say, you can go and stay in all these castles for free, and he just produces the photography, and now he's developing a business on the back of that, where he's getting castles to ask him to come and take photographs, and then we can give them a discount, etc., etc.
And you get decent photos then, don't you? In that same vein of your photography then, don't you?
I would say 5 to 10% of these properties know what they're doing from a media and marketing perspective, so they'll invest and get the photography and video, but most don't.
Most don't.
They don't understand the difference of what it will make.
Exactly.
And that's the key.
That's the key aspect of it. So you're dead right, and the experience you've had with that agency that you mentioned, that's good, but it's rare.
Yes, no, absolutely.
At the moment.
But he's growing significantly.
Yeah, fantastic.
But he's had to put a huge amount of work in to make this happen.
Well, we're in that similar space where what we're doing is we will give businesses frameworks, we'll give people guidance for free.
Yes.
Here's what to do, how to do it, here's the process, jump on a call, come in, experience this, let's do this. Zero cost.
Yes.
To get to build trust, build relationship. Here's the framework to do it, get on with it. Then they realize, but I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to do it, I don't have the time. And there are some enthusiasts, or Johnny will do video and take this framework and get on with it. And I said, that's fine, let him get on with it. So he'll be great in month 1, he'll be great in month 2, but what about month 7?
Exactly.
Where's the consistency? Where's the accountability?
And that's key.
And a business needs that, because what's 12-month plan? What's the 3-year plan? And how is, no disrespect to Johnny, you might be lucky and fantastic, but in most cases they don't have that process for sustainability and accountability in that business. Where when they talk to us, it's more about, all right, how can we make a plan aligned to your goals? What do you want to achieve? And then because the relationship's already there. We've given it. Here's the playbook. Now you can run with it, or just talk to us, and that trust element is priceless.
You mentioned earlier on about everybody being a photographer now with all the cameras and things, and it's like, they are, but the photographer is a generalised term. It's like, I've got a good camera, I can take some great pictures. But they can't. I've got a great pen, but I can't write a bestseller.
Yes.
Or a decent blog.
Or a decent blog,
no, it's true. It's
a skill. It's a skill. It's understanding a lot more than just pushing a button.
Yeah, camera's a tool. It takes 125th of a second to press that button and take a picture.
It takes 20 years to learn how to take the right picture.
How to make the picture,
Days to organise a shoot. Sometimes if I'm trying to find a location, and it could take ages organising that and making those arrangements, speak to the clients, getting them organised.
Our best one was somebody wanted to have a photograph taken with some beech trees. They had an affinity with beech trees.
Okay.
So Penny downloaded an app. What kind of tree is this? And we spent
If you needed
weekends
beech
walking
trees,
around.
I could have found you a load of cracking ones.
Oh,
I have a whole driveway full of copper birch going up to a beautiful,
I must come
beautiful
to you
property.
for locations where you know the future.
We do get film companies coming looking for locations and whatnot. Again, it's quite interesting. You know, what are you looking for? Blah blah blah. Okay, fine. And sometimes we can actually pinpoint exactly what they want or give them a couple of options.
Have you had much of Bollywood come across to you? Because
Not Bollywood. We've done some American reality TV shows.
Okay.
And there have been properties used for some of the Bollywood stuff, but not that we've been involved in.
There's over the last probably 10 or 15 years, there's the film. I was going to say government, but it doesn't sound right. The film industry, they give subsidiaries. They give
Subsidies.
That's the word. What she said.
I'm off camera now. I can think of words now.
Exactly. And I'm getting tongue tied. Put the cameras back on. Subsidies to production that's coming from outside. Because it
absolutely.
The,
we've seen that in Northern Ireland. We've seen it in Bradford.
Absolutely.
And whatnot. If you look at the amount of filming that's coming into Yorkshire at the moment, it's phenomenal. But it does need a lot of outbound stuff to highlight. This is what you've got here.
Well, 2007 in Yorkshire, they celebrated the IFA Awards, which was Bollywood Awards. Basically, from Sheffield to Leeds for like 3 months, it was Bollywood.
Right.
All the actors from India came here, and basically Yorkshire and the I suppose the council, they paid £1 million to put Yorkshire on the map.
Right.
And within, basically, after signing it and doing the press release, it paid for itself.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
It paid for itself just like that.
Yeah.
And never mind all of everything that happened.
Yeah.
But it was phenomenal, and it's amazing that trade that that happens because sometimes we get lost that we're in Leeds, we're in Yorkshire, but we don't realise what's happening in the rest of the world.
We end up, it's like we get in front of the screen or we're here. There's a huge amount going on elsewhere.
Absolutely.
It's that classic, everybody's walking around looking at the phone and missing what's around them.
Yeah.
And
you can really get into your own networking group, and you've got to sometimes just break out and have a look outside, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, I know in the past with networking groups, somebody might be recycling something. It's nothing to do with castles or hospitality. Can I come and have a look at your business? And you go in and you start to chat about different stuff, and then all of a sudden this little idea pops up and you think, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I could bring that back into our business. And likewise, I enjoy bringing people into our business to share stuff that we do. And they'll look and they'll think, gosh, you can push a button and get all that data in one go. I said, well, I couldn't run the business without this.
Of course.
And they don't have that data. And it's like, step back, what do you need to grow your business? And how can you get access to that really easily?
Yeah.
How can you partner with people?
Oh, absolutely. But again, I can remember in corporate life, there was all this paperwork everywhere, and, nobody had a focus on how the business was going forward. And as a result, all this ad lib stuff comes up, but it never fitted to a plan. So nothing ever properly moved forward. And, it's common sense at the end of the day, but we never make time for that.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah,
So true.
it's back to, thinking about, from a photography point of view, what's the end result? What do they want?
Yeah.
I saw a lovely, I'm just training at the moment to train other motorcyclists to become advanced riders. And there's this fixation when you're on a motorcycle of looking too far ahead and you miss what's in front of you. So you're looking in the distance and you see something that's you don't see something that's slippy here, and you're off the bike. Yeah. So it's about being able to go backwards and forwards all the time and readjust that focus. Yeah.
We used to...
Excuse the pun.
Well, on the point of transport, not in the same lane as motorbikes, but we spent 20 years working with the bus company first.
Okay, yes.
We did so many training videos on that same thing, that the driver needs to have periphery vision, long vision, short vision, and there's so much street furniture, they call it. Lampposts, streets, and if someone's walking close to the curb, you should be able to recognize that if there's a car coming from the side, because you're not just driving with you and your passengers. Well, you are, but your passengers could be 150 people.
Absolutely. It's a big responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility. and going too fast over speed bumps, how it damages the vehicle. So
Yes.
all of that, it just came flashing back to me in
Yes,
regards to that training and
No, indeed.
and training at its best happens peer to peer,
Yes.
as opposed from a top down point of view.
Indeed, and it's also giving them ways to learn, because we all learn in different ways, and the visual thing's quite good. In fact, I was in a Tesla for the first time 2 weeks ago, and I was watching the screen that they have, and I just thought, God, that's amazing. That would be amazing on a motorbike, or every car should have it. But it was pedestrians coming in, everything. It was just showing whatever the technology is, and I'm sure all these electric cars have this. But it was clever. It was really, really clever, and I thought that is so good. But then what happens is everybody focuses on the screen again, and we're not watching what's going on. And I got caught in Salford recently. We're dropping somebody off to a station. I don't really use sat-nav, so I was following the sat-nav because I didn't know Salford. It took me down a bus lane. I wasn't looking at the sign.
Ouch.
So expensive.
Well, a friend of mine trained to be a pilot, and one of the things that he said they had to do is they had to learn to use navigation only, and they fly up in a plane. They put a hood over the windscreen so they can't see anything. So they have to fly by instrumentation.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do that. I need to see where I'm going.
It's like that when I did touch typing at school. They put a little cover out so you couldn't see where you
Yes, yeah.
did the same thing,
Excellent.
like that, exactly. When I did my took my motorbike test, I can remember riding down a long road, and at the side here there was a small child that was just by his house. So obviously I just pulled up, that gave me a lot of space just in case, and then I went over this bridge and off I went. And then I'm looking in my mirrors and I'm thinking, where's the driving instructor? Where's the riding instructor gone? And then through my helmet I heard him say, just keep going and turn right. Okay, so I kept going, kept looking, he wasn't there, turned right, and then I heard him say, yeah, and then left. So, okay, and then he came up behind me, further up behind me, and he just said to me, we're going back, so next this, and just go back to the centre. I was okay, fine. And when we got back, he got off the bike and he was absolutely shaking. And I said, I'm thinking, what have I done now? What have I done? And he said, the child, after you slowed up, went round the outside and then carried on, he said the child bolted in front of me. And he said, if I wasn't as good as I am, then that child
Would have been dead.
He said, yeah. He said, he said, I don't know how I missed it. He said, and I had to stop. And he said, I just couldn't ride for a second. That's when I was saying, just keep going.
Yeah.
So I got up that, and I think I'd done everything by then, and we probably had about another 15 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go. And he just said, just go back. And then we got there. He said, you've passed, it's fine.
Yeah.
I said, okay. But,
Happy days.
yeah.
Yes.
The child nearly died, but happy days.
Yeah.
But no, and he said if it hadn't been for him,
Oh no, indeed.
being so good at
But
what he did.
it's having that observation, because most people don't see it.
They don't
No.
know.
And it's funny. It's when I'm sitting with people who are driving, my wife especially. There's no vision ahead, and I have to bite my tongue.
The best is, I'm going to jump in there. The best is when they come to a roundabout, stop, and then look to see, is the roundabout clear?
Yes.
No, it's clear. But and I'm like, why did you stop for? You should, approaching the roundabout,
There's no making progress at all. No, indeed. But no, the driving standard has really depleted. And I see a lot of it, especially with the distractions in cars now and phones, of course.
That's why I stopped riding my bike, because I was just riding defensively all the time.
Oh, you have to.
And it was just exhausting. I'd go out and get my bike, I'd go out for the day, go for a run, come home shattered, because it was just constantly trying not to get mopped up by people. And it was so different from, it changed, you could feel it, you could feel it change, and people just being less observant.
I was on the motorway recently, and a guy was doing 40 miles an hour in the middle lane, head down. And I said to my wife, he's on his bloody phone. No comprehension at all of what was on around him. Came round, and there he was, head down. I just thought, you're going to kill somebody. Or somebody's going to kill you.
You don't expect somebody to be doing 40 in the middle of the road when everybody's coming up behind them. You don't expect that.
I don't even know why they would even think that's sensible.
No.
And on the bike, I'm higher up. So one of the things I'm looking at now, I'm going to get cameras all around the bike, and I'm just going to start shopping people, because you just look and you can see them on their phone.
It's a disaster.
The camera will pick it, so it's like having a dash cam.
You know, because
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you'll pick them up.
They should just be banned altogether.
And
if somebody
I
phones
agree.
me, because if you're telling me a story, then I'm visualising it. So I can see it in my mind's eye, and it's all wrong, but in my mind I can see you going in your castle and you tell me and I'm watching, but you're completely wrong, obviously. But I'm a visualizer. So when I'm driving, if somebody rings me and they're telling me a story, I have to, I can only do quick calls. I can only say, I'm on my way home, don't think from Tesco's or whatever it is. But I can't do long conversations.
I won't have a conversation
I know that
in the car.
I can only do those quick
I'll talk
calls.
to somebody in the car, but I will not do something on a phone.
Yeah. I won't have a conversation because of that, and I know I'm distracted because I'm half visualising what they're talking about and looking at the road, and it's just aware of that. So let's not do it, and it makes me wonder. There must be a lot of other people like that.
Yeah.
But there's loads. You just see the accidents.
Yeah.
Just circling back to your Tesla experience. A couple of years ago, I went to. Have you been to the Tesla garage? Have
No.
you? Okay.
No.
Did you go to the Tesla garage?
No, I was just in a taxi.
You were in
I was in a taxi,
Oh, right,
yeah.
okay. So it's interesting how you said about the agency and, you know, they kind of helping you and talking you through that whole experience. I went to the Tesla garage to have a look at the cars. Within 5 minutes, I'm on the road driving the car.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So they go, go drive the car first and then come back and then let's talk. And I went, wow, that's different. I mean, I've been to a Mercedes showroom, I've been to all kinds of showrooms. I've never had that experience.
Yes.
So what have they done? They've changed things around to say, experience whatever you're looking to come to buy first, and then let's talk.
Yeah.
Because that might turn you off, and you might not want to talk, and you walk straight out, which is fine.
Yeah.
But if it's turned you on and it's hit the right kind of notes, then you can have a more healthy
That's a good
conversation.
idea, isn't it? That's clever.
And I'm all about that with regards to business.
Yeah.
You don't know me from Adam, so all you're going to judge me on is either my price or what you've just seen.
Yeah.
So that's lost opportunity. Sit down, let's talk, let's do something.
Yeah.
Let's work together on a project, get a full experience, and then let's talk about the big game afterwards. But let's do something first.
Yeah, yeah. It's quite interesting. I'm going to change my bike and I'm going around all the different brands and whatnot. And my current one, I went to them and I did the online book a test drive. Nothing came back. Then phoned them up. They still haven't come back. So it was 2 days ago. I went to BMW, filled it online. I got a call within 5 minutes. Hi, come over. And I said, I want to drive 2 bikes. I'll ride 2 bikes. Fine, no problem at all. Come across. And then got there and happened to bump into one of my other advanced friends, rider friends. And he said, I said, I'm going out in a 1250. All right, he says, well, don't go out in the 1300 because you'll just buy it and everything else. So came back to this guy, the sales guy, Richard, he says, we've no 1250s, but I've got a 1300. And I just looked at my friend, I said, oops, here we go. And I went out in this thing, and he just says, just go what you want.
Well, when I
Have it
was
for the
just
day, almost, you know.
Really?
Same sort of thing. Same sort of thing.
It's best
Because
way.
he knows,
He knows that once
that's,
you experience
that's a
it.
good product. So I can see why Tesla, maybe not these days, but I can see where the Tesla experience comes in. And the fact that it was one of the first and new, and it has this big screen.
It was a disruptor.
Yeah, of course it was.
Why not?
Yeah. And it gets,
how
you,
can we
it
learn
gets you
from?
totally to think differently.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it was funny, a friend of, and this was quite funny, a friend of mine wanted to change his car. He had a huge Merc. And he went in to get another Merc, and he just thought, these Mercs are all plasticky now. I don't like the feel of them. So the next garage just happened to be a Porsche. So he walked into the Porsche garage, and he's just looking around, and the guy said, 5,000 deposit, and it's yours. That's what he said. And he had $5,000, so he put a deposit down. He obviously sat in the car and thought this is quite good. He did go for a drive in it and everything else, and he just thought, fine.
Yeah. How can you reduce the friction? How can you make it easy for the customer
that's it.
just to get that much closer on the next step?
Yeah.
They don't have to do the whole
Yeah.
it's 12 yards, but just that next step. And some businesses make you jump through hoops.
Well, it's
Yeah,
quite
they
interesting
do.
because we've got to go through a lot of fear. So if we've got people coming into the country that have never travelled into the UK before, so somebody was wanting to purchase this castle experience up in Scotland, and it was just like, so what can we do here and everything else. So actually we came out of it. We've got lots of reference points. We just want to chat GPT, staying in this location. What are the top 10 things to do? So we got this information back. We just put our stamp on it. Sent it back. She was so blown away by all the stuff she could do and the fact that we actually communicated back, because so many people don't.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow, this is amazing. And I filled in the booking form.
But when we were contracting at the NHS, I went to buy a car. And I was test driving. I was looking at estates because we've got a lot of stuff and music gear as well. And I was looking at Toyotas, Avensis, and went into this garage in Wakefield. And I went just nice. just scraggy jumper and t-shirt, leather jacket, scruffy long hair.
Yeah. Did they all ignore you?
And I said, "Oh, I want to test drive that car." And he went, "Yeah, I can let you go out car parking if you want." It's like,
Left us,
no,
gave
thanks.
us the keys
Left
and
us.
pointed at it.
So I bought one from Reading, and I very nearly drove in and went, "Just bought this from Reading, cash." You could have sold that car.
I have a lovely story from.
So
We
wanted
did.
to.
We paid cash and everything for it, weren't we?
Yeah.
I used to go out with a girl in my teens, and her dad was a pig farmer. And he'd always wanted a Capri, a 2.8i injection Capri.
Classic.
In the day. So this
Classic.
would have been the
Oh
end of the
my God, I
70s,
remember.
early
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
And I'm from Belfast. We went into this Lisburn dealership, and there was this young salesman who saw him walking in, and he smelled of pig shit, basically. And looked an absolute tramp.
Yeah.
And he walked in, and I think this car was 12 grand at the time. And he walked in and just walked past the guy. The guy looked at him and thought, I got back down. So he said, "Oh, is the manager in?" Blah, blah, blah. "Oh, hi, Johnny, how you doing?" "No problem at all, hi. Can I have that?" And he says, "Yeah, no problem. Do you want me to drive?" He says, No, I just have it." And he pulled out all the money out of his pockets. He says, "There you go." And he got into this car and he drove out and he just said, "Never judge a book by its cover." He walked past, this guy lost all his commission. And he got back home, and within a week, maybe 10 days, he bales of hay in the back of this bloody Capri around the farm. It was the only one in Northern Ireland at the time.
Wow.
And I just thought, that just says so much about the world, because when you see people, you do not know who they are, what they are, what's going on in their lives and everything else. We see a shell and we think, especially these days, everything's okay, and all the rest of it. We've no idea what the experiences they've had in their life, and we never take time to ask them.
And that's the beauty of our job, because we do have a lot of time with
Yes, so you get to know them really well.
people we've met. The amount of times I've cried listening to the stories about what they've done and what they've achieved and what they've been through. It's like, I'll go make a cup of tea, flipping heck.
But it's the same with the older generation. I mean, I was lucky in that because I have a love of history, I would love and spend time with my grandparents, and they would my granny would bring over her brothers, and their wives would come over, and they'd all sit round a roaring fire. Sounds idyllic, but it's true. And then my granny would get the booze out, and they'd all sit there, and I'd be sitting there listening to all these stories. My granny making half of them up.
Yeah.
But it was just being a part of that, and I understood my family really well. I know a lot about that generation, and the photographs that I have, I know who they all are. And it was I went to see my great aunt not long before she died, and she had a box, and in that box was my great uncle George's, which was her brother-in-law. His letters home to his mum, because he was in a Japanese concentration camp, prisoner of war camp. He was in there about 3-4 years, and building railroads and things. And of course, a lot of them were redacted, so the bits were scribbled out that it couldn't be seen, or he just had to tick boxes. But the letter was there from the Ministry of Defence when he was first captured, and they said, "We think this is where he is." And then there was his message saying, "This is where I am, and I'm okay." Just ticks. There's probably a couple of similar of those going back and forth, and then there was a letter. This makes me going to cry. Then there was a letter, and it said, "Dear Mum, your boy's coming home."
Wow.
Because I knew him so well, so it still makes me feel. And he said, and he was, I think he weighed about 4 stone, 4.5 stone. He was a big guy, totally different to the man that had obviously gone away. But and I thought, how much he felt of getting that. And he was saying, I'm hoping to get home on this date. But he was still over there. But just to let him know that a boy was coming home.
That's powerful, that story in itself.
It was so, even now it makes me a bit chokes me up, but it's so beautiful. So I would be then going back in time, listening to all those stories and getting to know my great uncle George and my aunt Vera and so on.
That's
so
powerful.
I really knew who that man was that had wrote that letter. So it's lovely. And I think, I think that there's an older generation that we do ignore, and they have these amazing stories and so many secrets that they've kept, particularly from the wars that they've been in, that type of thing. And you discover older people when we're photographing them, and then they just have these amazing stories. It's wow.
It becomes a privilege, doesn't it?
We photographed an old lady called Colleen, and we got chatting to her, and she says, "I used to be a dancer when I was young and beautiful," and so we got a young dancer in to do some dancing behind her while she was sat kind of reminiscing with a glass of wine in a bar, and it just added her
memories.
reflective life, and it's like, such a good shoot.
Yeah, the day I sold my motorbike, so I sold my motorbike into the Leeds training school because mine was a GS 500 Suzuki, and they used those
perfect because that's what you do. 500, 600s.
Yeah, so I'd taken my motorbike into an MOT, and the owner of this place was there. And he said, "Are you selling your bike?" And it had been in my mind thinking, you know what, this is getting too dangerous. I'm not getting out on it enough. I think I was looking after my dad at the time. And the winter was coming. Right. So, and then the owner of the MOT garage said, "I'll have it." So I thought, this is quite a good bit of a war going on. Anyway, so the training guy got the bike, and I dropped it off in Leeds, and then had to get the bus back, and all my leathers carrying my crash helmet, and she was very so I got onto the bus, and I sat next to an old lady, and she looked at me and she said, "Have you broken down?" And I said, "No, I've just sold it." And she went, "How do you feel?" And I said, "I feel a bit sad, really." So I'm a bit stupid and sad in my leathers. And I said, "I feel a bit sad." And she said, "Yeah." She said, "I remember," and this woman's in her 80s, she said, "I remember," she said, when I first got my motorbike." No, what? Yeah. And then she said, and she'd learnt during the war. Wow. And she always kept them. And I think she gave hers up at that 70 something. Well, so that was amazing to me.
It's back to you see people, you don't know what their lives are full of. And it's funny because we don't give ourselves time. Everything's rush, and actually it doesn't need to be, but our perception is we've got to be fast, we've got to be lean, we've got to be mean, and all the rest of it, as opposed to...
Lean's passed us by now,
as opposed to just stopping and spending time with people. I had a lovely situation with a neighbour of ours, and we're just chatting away, and she was talking about a problem she had. Her son had a brain hemorrhage and everything else, and we just got chatting. And she was struggling because she wanted to change his garden because she does his gardening for him, but the garden's not easy to work because it's on a slope and everything else. And I just said, "Listen, could I help, and shall I draw a wee diagram for gardening? I enjoy gardening." "Oh, that would be absolutely brilliant." So we went round and met this guy James, saw how he was struggling and whatnot, saw the garden and saw and understood the problem. So there was obviously some friction between her as a mother and him as a son, and she's trying to change something and he's been resistant. So I just said, "James, what would you like out here?" And then just got to know him a little bit better and could understand, right, he needs to have a flat area. So I started to screw, and what else do you need? All right, so we started to bring that in, and his daughter was there. "Emma, what would you like?" Etc., etc. You could see the mother just sitting thinking, "Oh, that responsibility's off me now. There's something happening here," and everything else. Well, lo and behold, he went for it. My mother was paying for it, so she didn't want him to know too much, so she was covering the cost. We managed to find some contractors, and at the end of this month, I'm going around to help her plant now, because it was done over the winter time, to plant. And what a privilege, one, to be able to help somebody like that, but also to see somebody benefit, her son and her, and they're going to have this lovely space. And I was a little part of that, just by drawing a few sketches and putting a few plants in.
That's nice.
And that is where if you stop and you just, I suppose, engage, pick up what somebody's going through, or just maybe explore that and be curious, you can change people's lives. Yes. And it's phenomenal.
But that's how these things, whatever you want to call them, like these miracle things, like me meeting the lady on the bus after I'd just given my motorbike up, and what was the chance of me sitting next to her, and then her telling me her story, and that was lovely. But how much of that is missing now in the world, and particularly in the Western world, because we don't have that time. So there's probably all these things set up for people to help each other.
We perceive we don't have that time.
Yes.
We waste so much time doing silly things, like looking at phone screens and everything else. And then that has consequences further down the line.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of opportunities like that are missed, that kind of, that thing of it all coming together where you can help one another, and it's just that. There's
a lovely thing in Bali. And in the schools there, they teach kindness. And I just thought, gosh, that's quite impactful. And imagine, I mean, my daughter said to me when she was in junior school, she said, "Dad, why do we have to go to school? We've got Google." And I just thought, actually, that's quite profound. And
fair point.
and I just thought, interesting. So if we changed the education system and taught people how to be kind, taught them how to be assertive, taught them how to care about others and help others, talked about community, life skills, would we have better human beings than the ones that are being produced at the moment? And then would communities come back? Would parents have to, well, parents don't have time to take the responsibility, etc. Or we're back to perceived time. So there's so many things where a small change could make a huge difference.
It makes so much sense. Your previous story, we work with Touchstone in Leeds, and we do lots of, I wouldn't say the commercial projects because they don't have the commercial budgets. They're more like passion projects.
Right.
But when there's a loved one that's got dementia,
Yes.
and we're capturing the carer's story,
Yeah.
the carer's experience. So now this isn't the person who's got dementia, but the actual person looking after the person.
Yeah.
Just not yesterday, the day before, there was a wife of, the husband was like a serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
He's coming to the country. He got a kebab shop, and then he grew that. Then he got taxi ranks, and he grew that, and he did something else. No shortage of money. Always being proactive. Now for the last 8 to 10 years had dementia.
Right.
Now she's looking after him because all her life, because of all the wealth, she was just chauffeur driven. She just had a car, taken from A to B, do what I need to do. And she's saying, now I've got to pay the bills. I've got to take the bins out because I never did that. He did that.
Yes, yeah.
But it's beautiful to hear the story, appreciate the story, understand the compassion between them two as a couple and them dynamics, that they've not fallen out.
Right, yes.
Yeah. And it's such a lovely aspect to life that we don't see in the mayhem of business, work, life, kids, family, go, social media. And and on the flip side, this morning, I'm a trustee at a primary school.
Okay.
So once again, we're trying to give out time. I'm already time poor, but it's about making.
We're all time poor.
We're all time poor.
Yeah.
Is what do you value?
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe, tomorrow's children are our leaders.
Absolutely.
If we don't actually seed them with the nutrients they need, well, the world's not going in a good direction at the moment.
No.
We could do with some, good brains.
Yeah.
And the school ethos is around faith and values.
Right.
So not one faith, but every faith, or even if you're of no faith, you're still going to have good values.
Yes, yeah.
And how can them values encourage good learning, good home skills? And what they've seen is over a course of, it's quite a sizable map. They're a multi-academy trust, so they've got a number of academy schools under their banner. Out of the 1,100 academies, they're ranked about 18.
Okay.
So they're doing really well. Obviously, they aspire to be in the top 5. So for them, always, we've got to try harder, we've got to do better, which is a great place to be. But there's a direct correlation to faith and values to upscale and lift the quality of education, right to the point of, it doesn't matter how moody we might be because of the weather, what I've just experienced, but if the teachers can be role models to be positive, and it doesn't matter what's happening, but let's look at the best outcome out of the scenario we're in, and then pass that on to the children in class. That becomes a habit, actually a good habit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which only improves the academia and everything else that they're going to achieve in life.
Well, it's almost youngsters need boundaries.
Yeah.
And parents are becoming less effective putting those boundaries in place.
Yeah.
And that's all children want. They want to know where those boundaries are. There's a program, I think it's on ITVX, that's just come out. It's going through parents whose kid has killed somebody, stabbing them. And then it shows how this...
Adolescents.
That's it, yes.
We've just watched that. I'm going to mention that too.
Phenomenal. And you sit and watch, and what am I watching here? And you don't really get it, but schools, are almost like, it looks like a prison inside.
We felt really, I was
been
going to say the
managed.
same thing, felt really stressful watching that episode.
And then what the family goes through and everything else. And you just think, actually, there's a lot of people going through that. In lots of parts of the UK, probably the world as well. And you just think, gosh, you can just see how things break down. But when you come back to values, and family values, a lot of that is gone because community's gone. And that whole, the element of faith as well, because that can create so many issues for so many people. I'm from Belfast, I know all about the Catholic Protestant thing. But it is that thing about, be human. And, if you can get that all together, and by the sounds of things, there's some real positive stuff coming out of that. We need to nurture young people and show them that, they are the future and they're important. But then you get, leaders around the world behaving the way they behave. Those are not role models. No. And again, because it's everywhere, everybody sees it. Whereas in the past, you'd have to read a newspaper or sit down and watch the news. We never saw this as kids.
No.
They see it everywhere. Yeah. And you can see why things are going downhill as a result of that.
It's how does a child spell love?
Do you spell it or do they show it?
L-U-V, I guess.
How do you think a child spells love?
I've no idea.
L-O-V or
L-U-V?
T-I-M-E.
Yes.
Time, of course. Oh, that was lovely, tricky. I like that.
But again, you
That's
see
such a,
you see people giving kids a screen,
absolutely,
or pushing, or
be quiet,
or pushing a pram on their phone. A child sitting thinking, "You're not interested in me."
Yeah.
I can remember when we pushed the pram, we were head over, hello, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You lost the contact time.
It's when we were when we went to Rome, we saw a child there's a little child sitting in the buggy. And she was there at the moment. She just got the screen, and she was like, "Oh!" And her brother came up, who was a bit older than her, wasn't he? Probably like about 5. Yeah. And he came up, and he was a bit, and he's about 10, wasn't he? And he came up, and he was like, "Hi, how are you?" And she was like, not engaging with him at all. No. Well, for me, when my brother's 5 years older than me, so when he came up, I
thought there was that one where the family were walking past the Colosseum, and there was that little kid just walking behind him on his phone.
Yeah, not seeing anything.
Yeah. Right past the Colosseum, without his dad saying, "Look at this." And he wasn't. Dad was just marching along behind his wife.
I can remember.
Why would you not talk about that?
When I looked after the kids, I remember one day we took them to the Royal Armouries, and I said, "We're all bringing sketch pads and pencils and everything else." And we sat down and we drew all these different things around the armories, and all these people come in and look. And these 4 kids, was 2 of our friends as well. And then we came out and I said, "Right, we're going to do a photo session. I want you to jump here, jump there and whatnot." These kids are now 24, 25. They still remember that day.
Yeah.
And the other 2 kids weren't getting that from their parents. Their parents have since divorced, and the parents actually don't want the kids. So when they come to spend time with the respective parties, the parents aren't interested. And it's really sad to see.
Yes.
And I just looked at that, and I look at our 2, where we were very engaged with them all the way through. And they're really nice human beings. They can have a conversation. They've got confidence to do whatever they want to do. And time is what it was. Because we were very flexible, so we would work through the night to be able to spend time with the kids.
Of course.
And we were there in the morning to school, there when they came back from school, and everything else.
Really important values.
And that alone, I think, is the biggest thing. So the education and everything else, that was the biggest thing that made the difference to, and will make the difference to the success of my 2 girls.
That personality and the character building.
We're missing that.
We're missing that hugely.
I used to read a little bit. There's a fantastic book called The Story of I Can't. Okay. And it was an author. Well, I found this in Grassington. And I saw this tiny little book. I thought, this is great. Oh, I love this. So positive. So I bought this book, came home, and we used to read it to my youngest, who, didn't have any confidence at all. So 7, 8 and 9, we for 2 years read this every morning before we went to book, and we made this up. And I said, imagine if we wrote a letter to the author and said how wonderful this book is and what we do with it. What do you think would happen? Can we do that? Of course we can. Blah, blah, blah. We sent this letter off. It was an email. Email came back. This guy was blown away. So we continued having these little stories and whatnot. And what we did was we broke all copyright rules, and we got, because the story goes eventually, I can't becomes I can too. So we got I can too. We got the little graphic of this fella and put it on 3 vests for the daughter to wear to school to give her this confidence. And I said, imagine if this author came to our house for tea. Can we do that? Of course we can. So I'm sat chatting in the background and everything else. And then I said, imagine if he came to your school and took assembly. And we all started to build the story up. So eventually, to cut a long story short, he came and stayed with us. He had tea with us. We went in, he took assembly. And he went and took their class. Wow. And then what he and I did was we went up to the Dales and had a day's walking after school, or after we'd finished this thing in the school. And those 2 years of her doing that, and this is a big part of our life, and Sally, who was a year ahead, school year ahead, won the speaking competition, and she did the story of I can't in her terms of there's no such thing in our house as I can't. So I can't say, no, we can't do that. But she won the speaking competition on the back of telling this story and everything else. So I shared that with Rob. So Rob then signed a couple of books. We brought those back. So when she got the trophy, she got a personally signed book. So they both have this book. And this will be the most important book in their lives. But that came from finding that book and spending time again with my youngest. Just
and then they
going
will
through
pass that down.
I suspect they will. I suspect they will.
Well done.
And that just really rings home to me, because it is about parents spending quality time and not putting a screen in front. There's too much of that.
That's so easy to do,
It's too much. It's reading stories. It's bedtime routines.
Yeah, my dad used to sing. He used to come in and he'd have all these songs that my granny had sung to him, and he would sing them to me. My mum said I could hear you shouting and bawling and singing away. Yeah. And even I can remember all those songs. And there used to be one that was called The Little Boy That Santa Claus Forgot. And I could never get through without having to... And the last line was something like, I feel so sorry for that laddie, he hasn't got a daddy. And I thought, trying to sing these two lines, and my mum was saying, Jeff, choose other songs.
Yeah, that's good. But
we had loads of funny
those stay
songs
with you.
to sing.
Those stay with you for life.
Yeah, just silly little songs like cats and singing and all that kind of thing.
I used to cuddle in with the girls separately as they went to bed every night. We had Paddy stories, Irish. But the Paddy story, I just made them up as I went along, but it was something maybe naughty they'd done, or something somebody at school had done naughtily, so they were all really excited about Paddy stories. And I must have done that for 10 years. But it was just really, really special.
Yeah, it's just grounds children, doesn't it?
Yeah. And if I just said to the girls, shall we have a Paddy story? They'd be up for it. Even today in their 20s, it would be so funny. In fact,
nice.
They're coming back, they're working in the Alps at the moment, they're coming back in mid-April. I might just do that. I'll just say, listen, shall we have a Paddy story? Just for bad.
Fantastic.
Yeah, where do your girls live?
At the moment, they're living in Courchevel in the French Alps.
Oh, how lovely.
But one's just come back from New York, one's come back from Paris. So we don't know what the youngest one's going to do, but the other one will go back to Paris, we suspect, or somewhere in France.
What's she doing over there?
She's teaching English, teaching French, that sort of thing. But she's very, very good with young people. She's also into dance teaching and stuff like that. So we're not quite sure what she'll end up doing, but we think it'll be somewhere in that area.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens.
Oh, lovely. That's so nice.
And then the other was a dancer, but she's been injured. Linked to the toxicity of ballet, sadly. So she's gone down the yoga route. So she's now looking at yachts, cruises to go and take yoga and whatnot. But I'm not quite sure where that will all end up. But they'll both be fine. They'll both be absolutely fine.
Yeah, they've seen it. There's a big world out there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
How many children do you have? Do you have two? Three? What?
Boy, girl, boy, yeah. My son's 18, my daughter's 13, and my youngest son is 10.
So nice ages, but challenging ages as well.
Well, you know what? Traditionally, absolutely, but we haven't experienced any terrible twos, no teenage issues.
Oh, wow.
And we've got 3 placid children.
Lovely.
And I'm very grateful of saying that I can see them flower.
Yes.
I've spent the time with them, both me and Jagdeep, and it's so nice. I hear my friends saying, I can't believe where the time's gone.
Yes.
Yesterday they were like this, now they're like this, and I'm like, oh, where were you in that? Yesterday they were this, and today they're like this scenario. Yeah. And so, I spend a lot of time with them. I enjoy their company individually and as a gang. My brother's got 3 kids as well, so when we all get together at mum and dad's, there's a good football team of us, which is nice. And our extended family is big as well. Both mum and dad have got 7 brothers and sisters on both sides. So when any family function, it's like there's a whole horde of us. But we all get on, which is nice. And so the 3 kids keep us busy, keep us on our toes. But
what are they all doing?
The one is 18. He's third year at college. You talked earlier on about the education system. He's slightly dyslexic, so he gets challenged by English.
Yes.
So super clever. He understands it. He was with me on the shoot yesterday. He gets involved here in the office. Yeah. he's so bright, but just because of not accessing English, not getting support from the schooling system, he hasn't got his GCSEs. So it's like handicapping him.
Do you know what?
It's learning that method.
I'm
to
dyslexic
teach.
as well.
Okay.
I thought I was stupid until I was the age of 27.
It's so not true.
But you know what? It's the biggest gift you can have.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So there's lots of positivity out there, but it is brilliant. It is brilliant.
And we can't fill that in his mind
Okay.
enough. And he's a good kid.
Yes,
and
yeah.
we were really concerned when he went from primary to high, because primary school, the one he went to, ironically, the same one I went to because of where we live, they don't diagnose the children at the school with any neurodivergence because A, they don't get any funding, they've got to put extra resource to it, and the whole element of labelling. And I go, well, that's not the point. Every child should be able to access education, and you should give every child the opportunity to learn. And they just didn't put the provision in.
Right.
And when we started to look and do research as he went into high school, we went to the high school and we had all the meetings with them. Oh, we'll give him a laptop, we'll give him a passport, and they said the right things, but they couldn't action, they couldn't give us the evidence that they've actioned any of them. What we were concerned was, when we started to read stories and other reports, what tends to happen is because they're not achieving, and we've never experienced dyslexia or dyspraxia or any kind of neurodivergent experiences in us growing up as well.
Right.
So we've just been in set one because we just worked hard, studied hard. And if you didn't study, you were in set 2, 3, 4, the lowest set.
Yeah.
And the stories we heard, which were concerning, was when you're not hitting the marks, you get the low set. The low set, you're in and amongst other children who don't want to
And they're
perform.
disruptive.
They're disruptive, but every child wants to be recognized for being something special. So sometimes you become special by being disobedient. We were concerned, is he going to fall into... He runs a risk of falling into that group of kids that they're my friends. I study with them because you see them every day, but you don't realize that you're getting bad habits. And thankfully, he didn't get any of that through high school. He's at college and everything, but it was just the system let us down with regards to his academia. But throughout that, I mean, last year we did a recruitment campaign with the NHS, and they positively recruit neurodivergent people.
Absolutely.
And so it was such an eye-opening campaign even for me as a parent. But I shared it with home and saying, like, even the NHS are seeing people with special skills, not special, like you said, that they've got extra skills that us normal people don't have because they can hyper-focus or look at things with a different perspective than what a normal person would look at. But historically, it's deemed as... actually, you've lost something or you don't have something. But it's actually
in my case, you're stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, horrific reports if I read my old school reports. But what was quite interesting, we will bring people in for work experience. And this girl came in, and one of the things that I get them to do is do a blog post, do some research, write a blog post, everything else. And she sat down and she says, "Oh, I can't do this." I said, "Well, why is that?" "Well, because I'm dyslexic." Well, everyone in the office just put their head down. And I just said, "Oh, right." So I said, "Do you find that you're really creative and you see lots of pictures and everything else?" Yes, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Right, well, just because you're dyslexic doesn't mean to say you're not going to write this blog post. I don't care if there's words missing, the punctuation isn't there, and you've misspelt it. That's not important. I want you to go and do some research. I want you to write a piece, and you can get pictures in there, you do whatever you like, but you're going to write this blog post." And education has taught her that I'm statemented now, so I don't have to do this, and this, because I'm dyslexic. And I just thought, I cannot believe this is still happening. And as far as she's concerned, she can't do it. And we're back to the story of I can't. Well, she can too. And I just thought, she has no chance now to push forward and do probably what she wants to do, because her message is, she can't do stuff.
So sad.
And that's so poor. And then we're back to labelling and everything else. My goodness, aren't we putting the world to rights?
I'm hoping that, because I know when I was in education, I came out of careers advice. They said, "What do you like to do? What do you want to be?" And I said, "Well, I like art and I like music. I can draw pretty well. I'm a good musician." "Oh, have you thought about working in a shop?" So my first job was working in a shop. It's like... And then that was all pushed aside, and the guitar never got touched for years because I was a shopkeeper or a shop assistant.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. We're all different.
Hopefully that's changing now.
We've all got skills.
Absolutely.
And education needs to be able to draw those skills out.
Yeah.
It's not about maths and English all
Yeah.
the time. It's about how do you harness that inner.
And the schools are directed, this is how you teach, but that's not how I learn.
No,
that's
exactly.
not how these people learn. You're missing people
You
on
miss
either side.
too much of a large percentage
Yeah,
of people.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it's crazy. Blimey.
We covered a lot of ground today.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I really enjoyed that
Well, it's
conversation.
10 to 8.
It's 10 to 8.
It's 10 to 8.
Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Stu.
you for coming in and taking the time, all
Okay.
of you. It's
That's
lovely to
been
meet
good.
you.
You too?
Yes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that conversation.
Yes,
We got
too.
some really interesting points there. So, look, let's keep in touch.
Okay.
Obviously, I know you guys are working together. I mean that on a serious note.
Okay.
If there's an opportunity to...
We're working together, aren't we?
We're working together.
Yeah, still together?
Yeah.
It's not just for the cameras.
Maybe buy a thread.
Buy a thread. But on a serious note, if video can get peppered into the mix, or
Yeah.
you're interested to explore how that looks, or you've already got some ideas that, I've got this plan, but I'm just finding the right outfit. Our approach is very consultative.
Yeah.
It's never we can come in and take over. First, let's sit down, let's understand what the opportunity is, what's the challenge, what's the opportunity.
Yeah.
We might be a great fit, we might not be, but it's possible we can signpost you to the right fit as well. So I'd love that opportunity to have a conversation.
Okay. Well, let's do something with that. I think for me, it's about the resource.
Yeah.
And it's about how do we get it to work to generate. At the end of the day, I want somebody to fill a form in to come into our database, so it gives us the opportunity to share our knowledge with clients. So that's where we want to go. But also, it's probably there's an educational piece with the properties to say this is how it can make a difference. And they don't have the resource either, but they also won't spend the money on the resource. And I think that's the frustrating thing.
So on the former, the latter is education, and the money's always a challenge. But when you can show a roadmap of how to do it, then people find the money. So I don't find money actually being a roadblocker. They just use that as an excuse.
Right.
I find
Okay.
from my
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
The former about filling forms, it's so we often talk about business models and how we've grown as a business. Even though we're a video agency, when I talk to businesses, we do client acquisition.
Right. Yes.
Because it's about what does that business need? It wants more bums on seats, more forms filled in, more lead gen, more customers is ultimately what it is. And it's if it's getting an audience that doesn't know anything about our product, well, who's our ideal customer persona? How can we create content to appeal to them? How can we target them both organically and using paid ads? Bring them to our landing page, give them the right kind of information. And video does a lot of that heavy lifting, strengthened with great photography, great copy, tone of voice, language, all of that good stuff comes into it to then fill in the form, and then the follow-up process, automation on emails, text messages, someone picking up the phone.
Yeah.
We do that whole A to Z journey.
Yeah.
But video has to be part of that mix. If there's no video, then there's lots of other agencies
Absolutely.
in Leeds. Go speak to them. God bless you. And I don't want to waste your time. Don't waste our time. But for us, why wouldn't you use video? Because we can make an emotional impact.
It's the customer journey.
Absolutely.
And it's how do you engage with them on the channels that they prefer
Wherever they live.
and linked to what they want. I mean, we're quite interesting because we've never advertised.
Yeah.
Everything is organic search.
Brilliant.
And from there, referral. So that's how we do what we do. But obviously there's always challenges with that.
Consistencies.
And touch wood, it's worked for us.
Fantastic.
But it is that thing. I think there's a huge opportunity for the visual element, both in photography and video, to tell stories and do stuff. I mean, I listened to a podcast. It was Conversations on a Bench. I don't know whether you've come across that. Guy just goes up and sits beside somebody and said, "Can we have a chat? Do you mind if I tape it?" And some of the stuff that comes out is
Oh, that's
amazing.
good. What's that one called?
Conversations on a Bench, I think it is.
Oh,
Something like that.
I'll have to see if I'm better than that.
And it's just what people open up to a total stranger. It's phenomenal. And you just think, how amazing is that?
Really.
And I think video is part of that too.
I'll tell you about some of the conversations that people have had to me, haven't they?
The key thing that comes to it, I suppose, is when you've got time, when it's right. If now's right, we can schedule some time. If it's a bit further on, is just we're not there selling or looking for work. It's more about understanding, is there a fit first, and then we'd love to probably do that discovery. Is our first phase.
Yeah.
And just see what is it you're looking for. It sounds very aligned to what we offer.
Yeah,
but, we need to go through the process.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do a bit more together. We need to get ourselves sorted out, because I think people ask us, people say to us, do you do video as well as photography? And we say no. But then we recommend Rash Palmer. You got 2 in 1 day, didn't you, the other week? I don't know how they turn out, but then you will do the same with us. But we were saying about working with these companies that want the same thing, that they want us to return throughout the year or every year or something. And I just thought we really do need to get that onto our website, because I think when people come to us and it's there saying that we're photographers, but we offer videography as well through our connection, then it's almost like the people look at us and go, okay, I can get both of them there. Whereas if they just come and they're just seeing photography, we're probably missing out on work, and we don't know until somebody rings us and says, you do videography as well, and then we can recommend
and there's probably an
Rashpal.
element with your business, it's also showing them what you do, so it's capturing the customer journey, that they see that and think, all right, and what they're doing is people do business with people, so they're seeing you in action, and then you can pick up testimonial from that day, in effect, that links in with the feelings that your subject has had.
Yeah,
and then that brings it back in, and there's video there which then ties in, and we can offer video. So that story, in effect, is saying, all right, I could do something like that. And then you're into how do you tell the story of your business? Bang, through photography and video. And that then starts to come through.
Yeah, that's very true. We need to start putting that in more, because I just don't know how many opportunities we're missing out as photographers because they don't see the videography, and how many opportunities you might be missing out to see the videography but don't see the photography. So when you put them together, it doesn't matter now that you have your business and then you have an arm that you bring in. I mean, there's so many businesses now where they just want
one-stop shop to cover everything.
and then they have good people that they really trust and work with.
It's like people come to us because we have the knowledge to share with them the people they need to trust.
Yeah.
They'll come and say, oh, do we need a wedding planner? So why do you want a wedding planner? Because of this. I said, listen, the team at the castle, this person here, Janine, will be absolutely brilliant and better than a wedding planner. You don't need a wedding planner. Save the money.
Yeah.
Have a chat with her first. If you feel, once the video call's right, you feel comfortable with that, that's right then.
I didn't know about that. So we'd get obviously get inquiries for weddings, but we always pass them on. But it's good to know that we can even suggest to them, say, where you're getting married, and say, well, if you go to Celtic Castles, have a chat with them, you'll get a wedding planner thrown in.
Yeah. Well, it's the expertise at the properties, because people think they need to bring another level in, which they don't. Because most wedding planners just like going to weddings.
Do you have the ability? So many moons ago, we don't do weddings anymore, and we used to have an events business that my brother still runs.
Okay.
That still does all the entertainment, lighting, production.
Okay. Yes.
Weddings, and Indian weddings become quite a big elaborate affairs. Do you have space on your grounds to put up the big marquees for?
There are on some of the properties. Obviously, Indian weddings are big events.
Of course.
So some of them are geared up to that. One or two have permanent marquees and whatnot, but there's not. The castles are all too small.
Of course.
That's the general issue. There's some big ones over in Ireland, but most of them have 20 bedrooms.
Yeah.
So from the accommodation side of things, that's always a challenge.
Well, from recollection, and this is going back some years ago, whenever we did a wedding at a castle, it was always in a marquee.
Yes.
The couple or the immediate folks, family, they all stayed at the castle. Everyone else was down the road or the nearest kind of place, because they're not on the edge of a city. They're quite often out in the sticks. And but the whole novelty of going to the locations, the beautiful backdrops was just picturesque.
Oh no,
for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
Do any of the castles have bolt-on accommodation?
Not as such. They might have hotels nearby.
Right.
Again, depending on the size. Some are big. I mean, some have got 150 rooms. I've got a 200-room one in Paris.
I forget about Europe as well. I must keep that one in mind as well, that you have Europe too.
Picking on Langley, they've only got a few rooms, but they are
castle.
grand rooms in the castle. They have the stables.
They've got the stable block at the bottom,
So we had to wait 18 months for the rooms that we wanted when we stayed.
Ah, right, yes, yeah.
Because they were just booked out at the time.
Yeah, were you trying to get the Radcliffe room?
That sounds familiar.
With the one with the sauna and the jacuzzi in it.
We've got the pictures.
Yeah, we have. We took your mum and dad, didn't we? And we had one and they had the other.
Yeah.
You walk into the bathrooms like this size.
Yeah, 7-foot windows. So
It's beautiful.
Well, I was up in a castle in Scotland in November, and it used to be a 30-room hotel, so they changed it to a 15-room hotel, so the bathrooms are as big as the bedrooms.
Oh, nice.
Beautifully done.
Yeah.
Beautifully done and targeted correctly.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of money doing it, but they're all different. They're all very
You
unique.
said you went to Oxford the other day, and we like going to lots of different places. We've been to one place, that's it. We'll probably not go again, as nice as it was.
Right.
But we went to Oxford and we stayed in the Malmaison, which was an old prison.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah, and we stayed in there. And that was
Your birthday
a
present,
great
that was it?
experience.
Yeah.
Just different.
I drew him a card and I put, on the, you will go to jail, that Monopoly thing. That was on the front of it. And he's like, where am I going? You're going to jail. But what they did, they had the two little, he'd have all the cells, very small doors, but they joined two together. So you'd go in, this would be the bedroom and then through, and then that would be the bathroom. But it made you realise how small they were.
And then one of
they?
the cells downstairs was still kept as it was. And I think, was it 9 people he crammed in there?
Oh, there's lots. I think
Tiny
6
cells,
crammed
they
in.
just crammed people in, and he says, I said to him, have you had any of the inmates come back as guests? He said, yeah, I've had a few visitors come back.
Yeah. Well, I used to work for the Scotsman in Edinburgh, and I used to go in and spend time with the MD in there, and he had this beautiful oak panelled, suite of offices.
Yeah.
Then it's not a bedroom, so it's a hotel. And to go back in there and see what used to be a place of work, now a luxury hotel, is just phenomenal, the transformation. Yeah.
He said, we stayed in some nice place, haven't we, when we used to be contractors and we'd be busy enough here and there, didn't we? We used to stay in some beautiful places.
Yeah.
There's some really lovely people just know how to do it right.
Yeah.
And then she's a bit tired now.
Yeah.
That was true, actually. There were some that said that they were beautiful, and he thought, well, I can see they were once, but it sounds like a little bit tired now, aren't they? Yeah. That is true, but there are just some fantastic experiences to be had, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's nice.
Built in the 1500s, original curtains.